Hi guys, good afternoon. My name is Ariante. If you're watching this video, please like and subscribe to my channel to grow with me. Today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about compassion because as you know I've been reading the Bhagavad Gita, and on one part of the Gita, and don't quote me word for word because I read this probably like a couple weeks ago and just never made the video, but compassion is pity or concern for another's hardships. And so in the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about there being two types of compassion. So there's the type of compassion that we have for us here, us on the material plane, that we have for other humans or creatures on the material plane. Then there's a compassion that God has for us on this material plane. So it pretty much says that, and this is not word for word, but the gist of it is that the compassion that us humans have for other humans in the material plane is, so to speak, a fool's compassion, because here we have compassion for these people and their suffering, and we're living in the same suffering, we're living in the same predicament. So it talks about the whole of suffering being one, and this plane has its whole of suffering. And so to alleviate suffering, we can alleviate our own suffering, and in alleviating our own suffering, we will naturally alleviate the suffering of others as we walk in our higher consciousness. And so the compassion that God has for us is a compassion that is outside of the predicament. So it's a more true compassion, because it's not a compassion of let me take your suffering while I'm in my own suffering. And I think a good example of this, have you ever met those people that, like, for instance, they think they're fat or they think they're ugly, and they always complain about being fat or ugly, but they never go to the gym or do anything about the things they don't like about themselves. But they continuously come to you and they want you to give them your compassion or your understanding, or come to their level to tell them that they're not ugly or they're not fat. Or ugly, I mean, come on, that's an opinion. So we'll just go with fat. So they constantly want you to tell them they're not fat, obviously, because they keep coming and crying to you about them being fat. And then you say, no, you're not fat. And they're like, yes, I am, obviously, because that's an agreement they already made within themselves, right? And so every time you tell them they're not fat, you alleviate their suffering just a bit, even if it's just a temporary relief of their suffering. But then when they go home to their own and they're living still in their suffering, they feel that they're fat, and then they come back to you to get that Band-Aid, that Band-Aid, that Band-Aid. But unless they do anything to alleviate their own suffering on their own, you're just going to keep giving them a Band-Aid, and they're going to keep going back and continuing their point of view, because they never did anything to change their suffering. And so it's a fool's compassion for me to continuously come and tell you over and over again, you're not fat, you're not fat, you're not fat, because all you are is addicted to my temporary relief of suffering that I'm giving you. But I'm not really relieving anything, because as soon as you get to yourself, you haven't changed anything, so you're still suffering with the idea that you're fat. And in the same way, I have my own life situation, so here I am constantly coming and giving you my compassion, giving you my pity, or understanding that you're not fat, or feeling for you and feeling your hurt and your pain with you, and allowing you to go there and allowing you to take me there with you, because you think you're fat. And I have my own life situations or own things that I got going on that I'm not even alleviating, because I'm so worried about the outside world and handling other people's suffering. And so we have people that consider themselves to be empaths, and they're just deeply empathetic, and I'm not saying that that's true or false or anything, because I believe it's true. But you have people that constantly come to you and they want your assistance, they want your help, they want you to help them out of their suffering. And if you don't take care of yourself and your own suffering, or alleviate the things that are going on inside of yourself, you will get burnout, or caregiver burnout. And that's a real thing, because you constantly are giving for other people's suffering, and you don't realize that you're causing your own, because you're giving so much of yourself away and not focusing on replenishing or making sure that your source is always coming in and coming through. And so I thought this was a beautiful video to make, because I think so much we get caught up in giving compassion or being compassionate for other people's suffering when we're in the midst of our own. And the more I learn about myself, I enjoy making these videos, because when I make videos, I'm sitting here. Oh, they're having an air show outside. But as I sit here and I make a video, I'm only talking about my own mental issues or my own sufferings. And so I never deal with others. I'm just giving you mine. So as you watch mine, if it aligns with yours, then you just come into alignment and we both just grow together. So this is my video on compassion. If you're watching this video, please like and subscribe to my channel to grow with me. And I hope you have a good day.